And Kevin Jackson is on the line. He's the executive director of the Blacksphere, syndicated radio host with the USA Radio Network, author of Race Pimping, the multi-trillion-dollar business of liberalism, the website The Blacksphere, SPHERE.net. And Kevin, welcome to the program.
Thanks, Tom. Good to talk to you.
Good to talk to you, too. I have a piece here that you wrote that was in the Blacksphere, titled Kevin Jackson Makes It in Pop Culture Magazine. And you write, as a conservative African-American, you write about Black Lives Matter, and I quote, "It's nice that the lamestream media continues their attack on black people with this nonsense BLM movement. This movement endangers black people, actually putting them in harm's way." What are you talking about?
Well, if you look at what's happening in black neighborhoods across the country because of this nonsense, you'll see that there's been a surge of criminality. In St. Louis, for example, the crime rate has increased over 33%. In Baltimore, it's up 33%. These are high-population black areas that are experiencing this. Go down the line. Look at the cities that are impacted. Look at the neighborhoods. I will venture to say, Tom, that you're not experiencing a whole big ration of crime in your neighborhood, or the cocktail-sipping bourgeois liberals, what I call the white enablers, aren't getting their neighborhoods ransacked and seeing an upsurge in violent crime. So what happens is these people go out acting as if they're doing black folks a favor by coming in and protesting and saying Black Lives Matter, when in fact we know it's just not the case because they don't believe it themselves. It's nonsense.
Okay, so
and
there's
then
two.
They leave, Tom, and unfortunately, and I happen to live in a black neighborhood, we're left with the fallout.
So, Kevin, there's two narratives out there right now about what's going on with regard to the increase in crime this year in our major cities. The first narrative is that you can track this directly and specifically back to Republicans in Congress cutting back on programs that assist people who are out of work as a result of 34 years of Reaganomics. I let you have your say. Let me finish this thought, and then you can push back on it if you want. But we got these two narratives. The first narrative is poverty has actually increased in the last couple of years, and the ability of people to get government assistance has actually decreased. The net quality of life of people living at the very bottom of the food chain in this country, which includes a large swath of minorities, and particularly black people, is getting worse. And so typically whenever that happens, you see an increase in crime. The other narrative, which is the one that the white folks at Fox News and white Roger Ailes and white billionaire Rupert Murdoch are pushing, is that because black people are standing up and saying, "Stop killing us, police," the police have stopped policing these neighborhoods. And because there's not a cop walking around with a gun pointing at people all the time, black people being black people and being inclined toward violence simply by virtue of the fact that they're black people will act badly if there aren't enough cops around. Now, the lie that is given to that is the fact that if you look at the individual statistics from any of those cities, there have been no police layoffs. There's been no cutback or no reduction in the number of police officers on the street. And not only that, there's been no reduction. In fact, there have been increases in the number of police calls for everything from, domestic violence to robberies and burglaries. The rise in crime has absolutely no correlation to a decrease in policing. It's just a nice narrative for white people to say, see, those black people just don't know how to behave. And if we don't have enough white cops with guns around, they're going to start killing each other. Just look at that. They're killing each other again.
Okay,
you're down with the Fox News narrative rather than the narrative that's coming out of science-based institutes like the police departments.
Are you ready for me to talk?
Yeah, it's all yours now, Kevin. Which of those two narratives are you picking?
Let me address your poverty narrative. First of all, what you're saying, Tom, is that black people are too stupid to get out of poverty. We don't know how to work.
I never said that.
We don't know how to get jobs. So you have to come in and explain to us, if the government doesn't help us, how would we dare get out of poverty.
Never
you
said
wanna
that.
You want to blame some idea. that
Kevin, you
black
can
folks-
speak for yourself,
Let
but
me
don't put
finish
words in my
I'm
mouth.
talking about. You want to. That's what. Well, if you
Kevin,
wanna take it,
stop
if you wanna
telling
take
me
it-
what I want and
if you
tell
wanna
me
take
what
it
you
personally,
want.
You can. I'm speaking figuratively. If you will let me speak. So the fact of the matter is for the figurative people that believe that black people are too stupid to get jobs and to fight our way out of poverty.
Right, the folks over at Fox News.
It's absolute nonsense. And in fact, we are not in poverty because when you look at the things that are accessible to us, like housing, pimping out our rides, getting our hair and nails done, having cable TV, cell phones, and a bunch of other crap that we don't need as opposed to focusing on the things that we should be focusing on, which is raising our children right and getting good quality educations. That's what we should be focused on, number one. As far as your second narrative goes, where you want to blame Roger Ailes or somebody else for some stupid narrative about where there's more crime, let me make it very simple for you, Tom. In every one of the cities that we're talking about, let me tell you who's in charge, Mr. Diversity? Democrats. And in many cases, it's black Democrats. Cops don't do anything monolithically on their own. They are responsible to a hierarchy. And in that hierarchy, it is your mayor. And it is Stephanie Rawlins Blake. It is David Bing and many other black mayors. And if it's not black mayors, it's black or it's white Democrats who are always in charge. So if you want to make the narrative that it's a Reagan problem or it's a cop problem, I don't care how many cops are on the street. I don't care how few are. I do know who's in control of how many are on the street and how they're deployed.
You have, Kevin, absolutely no evidence that police aren't policing, number one. Number two, if that was your assertion,
police aren't policing. I don't care if police are policing. I'm telling you, crime rates are going up in cities run by Democrats, disproportionately affecting black people. There is
right. No, I get it. I get it.
That.
You think that the black Democrats are too stupid to run a city. I get it. I've seen that narrative on Fox News many times.
I know
this
that.
This is Nelson Schwartz writing in the New York Times on September 2nd, 2015, the headline is Low-Income Workers See Biggest Drop in Paychecks. We are at the cancer stage of Reaganism here, Kevin. Stagnant wages are a problem for everyone at this point, but the imbalance in the economy has become more pronounced since the recession, said Irene Tung, a senior policy researcher at the National Employment Law Project. The National Employment Law Project just came out with this study showing that people at the bottom of the economic pile are trying as hard as they can to rise through the ranks, and they are being blocked by and large white employers.
I know it. You know what? Nobody wants to hire black people, and we need all these other fair labor things or whatever. Because black people, without you, Tom, we just can't figure out a way to get a job.
Well, and apparently, when black people run cities, they screw it up, right, Kevin?
We can actually create our own jobs. Why don't you check with Jay-Z and see how many black folks he has employed? Why don't you check with Oprah, see if she's employing anybody? What about BET? What about the various News One network? What about them? Do they employ black people, or are they only employing white people as well? The idea that
what does this have to do with anything?
Is that black people are too stupid, number one, to get a job, or two, to create a job.
Well, I understand that's the official Fox News position and the position of most conservatives. I get it, and you were just articulating that, saying that when black people run cities, they screw them up. I get it, but I don't agree with it. I don't believe it. I think black people are just as capable as white people.
Well, I'm glad you finally admitted something that we agree on. So if that's the case, don't go blame. You want to blame an institution of as if somebody's got a cabal.
What I'm saying is that the economy sucks.
What you're trying to say is that America does not allow blacks to start companies. So, hey, let me ask you, Tom, can black people start companies?
Kevin Jackson, Executive Director of the Blacksphere, syndicated radio host, USA Radio Network, author of Race Pimping, the multi-trillion-dollar business of liberalism, the website theblacksphere.net. Kevin, thanks for dropping by.
My pleasure.